It's Missing Real. With Mike Darrigo. Wait till they get a load of me. I know who you are. Well, I'm sure glad somebody does. Thanks. Hey, welcome back, everyone. It's Missing Real. I'm talking about a great couple of movies, not just one movie, but I picked a little slice out of a huge famous franchise that you're all familiar with, and you probably remember it way back in the day in the comic books and on the cheesy television show, but we're zeroing in on the two Batman movies directed by Tim Burton. We have 1989's Batman, and we have 1992's Batman Returns. We're going to talk about both today, because they're both Tim Burton movies, and they both starred Michael Keaton as Batman. And a lot of you will probably remember what kind of riots and protests and all kinds of crap were going on. People were like boycotting the very existence of a movie starring Michael Keaton in the role of Batman because he was just some comedian guy. We couldn't take him seriously as Batman, although yeah, you took Adam West seriously as Batman with his slow delivery and acting that was only one step above William Shatner. But yeah, you could buy that, right? Yeah. You know, anything would be a step up from Adam West. God rest Adam West. You know, he's iconic. He was the man. He had a great voice. He was Batman, you know, even though he was wearing like underoos before underoos even were a thing. And that was his costume and his cheesy bat, whatever he needed at the time on his utility belt. You know, he would have like, bat COVID-19 antigen test now if he needed one just to make sure, you know, a little bat-shaped swab you could stick up your nose and test for COVID before you go fight crime and, you know, possibly infect them. But yeah, Batman, it was cheesy, okay? Batman was for kids, and I used to watch it, of course, because I was a kid, and it was a great show. It was a lot of fun, and the violence was edited out by little colorful stars with the word biff, boff, and pow inside of them, so you really never saw any contact of a fist against a jaw. And of course, it was probably much easier to choreograph the fight scenes. You know, they were all just like picking each other up, and Robin would kick people and push them away. It looked like a really bad choreographed ballet, and it was supposed to be action and fighting. Well, thankfully, that all got ratcheted up quite a bit, and now we get some seriously intense smackdown fight scenes with Batman now, because he could actually fight. But now the thing is, Michael Keaton, yeah, he was a comedian, and people only saw him in comedies and couldn't take him seriously as an actor, but he was cast as Batman, and now, you know, in retrospect and looking at all the cool work he's done over the years, yeah, he was a great choice and did a really fine job as Batman. You know, it takes more than just a good jawline to be Batman. And he had it, you know. Michael Keaton has a lot of talent. Back in his early days, I would see movies of his like Night Shift in 1982, very good comedy. He's been in RoboCop remakes. He was Birdman, you know, different sort of crime fighter with wings, but yeah, that's like a different type of film there. Clean and Sober was his serious acting dabble there, and maybe people saw that and like, maybe he can act. He could do stuff besides make us laugh. And of course, he was really, really good on the Hulu series Dope Sick, where he had to deal with OxyContin instead of Smilex, but it was a much more serious dilemma, you know, drugs and addiction. So he's really great in that. And Michael Keaton is just a solid actor, a really cool guy. I like him a lot. So here he is, he's Batman, all right? But the thing about Batman 1989 wasn't even Michael Keaton, man. Top billing went to, of course, Jack Nicholson, who is playing the Joker. And yeah, Jack is Jack. So, you know, playing the Joker is pretty much just like, you know, getting out of bed and slapping on the makeup and he's there. He's in character already. He took it to the limit, I guess, if Jack has a limit. And he was the main attraction for going to see this damn movie. But Tim Burton, yeah, if you were a fan of his already, he's a very artistic guy, man. He's done some really famous cult stuff, but I never really saw most of these things back then. I never even saw Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I did see Beetlejuice, and I've seen like almost all the other stuff he's done since, you know, with Edward Scissorhands and Nightmare Before Christmas and things like that, and Ed Wood, terrific movie. Something that might have happened, but probably better off that it didn't, was there was some talk that Tim Burton was going to direct The Fly with Michael Keaton starring, rather than David Cronenberg and Jeff Goldblum. I don't know. We know how that turned out. Yeah, it turned out for the best. Much better. Yeah. I don't know if Keaton and Burton would have done a great Fly. So, they stuck with something else that flies and kicks ass and isn't as gooey and disgusting. Leave that to Cronenberg. Leave the body horror to Cronenberg because that was his forte. And that was probably just some silly rumor in Hollywood that I just thought I would throw in here for the sake of trivia. But let's talk about Batman, 1989, Batman. Well, let's just kick things off with what's happening in this damn movie, and we'll see who's in it and stuff, if any of them matter. Of course, the music is very important in Batman. You hear it right from the start. And Danny Elfman is usually Tim Burton's go-to composer for almost every movie. Danny Elfman, of course, formerly the leader of new wave, kind of goofy, quirky rock band Oingo Boingo, who had some pretty good songs, Dead Man's Party and Weird Science and things like that. But Elfman really shows a lot of technique and depth, and his score for Batman is pretty damn awesome. Much better than a lot of the other Batman music you've been hearing in other films since. But yeah, his is like classic and iconic themes, and all of it is great. It really sets the mood for this film and makes it awesome. And it could be silly and goofy when there's shit like that happening. But the other half of the soundtrack of Batman, because we just didn't want to take any chances, we're just going to hedge all our bets here, just in case people don't like orchestral scores. Let's throw in a bunch of Prince songs and have a Prince soundtrack of Batman. So now, no disrespect to his purpleness now, because Prince, was also an amazing musician and writer and performer, just that this Batman soundtrack and the songs he did for it, they were no Purple Rain, okay? They were good, but yeah, they just sort of, shoehorned them into the movie, and actually, they all kind of sound almost the same, and they're just really dancey, and the actual good songs are like the slower ones, like the last song in the credits there is Scandalous. It's like a slow burn kind of Prince song with all the falsetto vocals, and there's a nice duet on the soundtrack with him and Sheena Easton, The Arms of Orion, which I don't remember being in the movie much, but that is kind of cool to listen to if you want to hear good Prince stuff. You can slow it down, light some candles, and bust out the Courvoisier or whatever you do. So, all right, those are the soundtracks. That's the music. We won't have to really talk about that again. But you'll hear little music cues when I deem it necessary to punch up my boring-ass podcast for you. And, the triumphant tones of when Batman appears in a movie. The movie starts off with this, you see how Gotham City is so riddled, get that, with crime, and these goons are going around and mugging people and stuff, and you see a cape, like a shadow. It looks like it's a cartoon. These guys get on the rooftop after mugging people, and they meet up with Batman, and he introduces himself right before he flies off of the roof, like, I'm Batman. In case you don't recognize the costume, because it's been a while. Yeah, you haven't seen it since. It looks a lot better than it did when Adam West was wearing it and goofing around and climbing up the side of the building and stopping and talking to everybody who poked their head out the window. It was like a special guest star would stick their head out the window and start talking to Batman and Robin on their way up the building. Remember that? It was so stupid. And music, yeah, fuck that. That's why we got Danny Elfman to fix all those goofy music cues that are stupid. But the theme song, I miss that. That's the one thing I really miss. Maybe we'll hear a version of it before we're done. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. All right, so yeah, Batman saves the day. Sort of. We just get these guys arrested, and we see who's in charge of the so-called authorities here. We have Billy D. Williams as District Attorney Harvey Dent. And he's got that Colt 45 smile on his face. And he only has one face, and he's not Two-Face yet. Now, Billy D. Williams was supposed to be Two-Face in a later Batman, but his contract got bought out when some producer or director, whomever they were, decided they'd rather have Tommy Lee Jones playing Two-Face. So, poor Billy D. Williams, although he did get to play Two-Face, at least the voice of Two-Face, in the Lego Batman movie. So there you go, justice was served. Sort of. All right, we'll see a couple of Jacks. We have, besides Jack Nicholson, gotta say, there's another Jack in this movie, a Jack of all trades, a very famous Jack, the only Jack who could really Jack, who could be his boss. All right, so we have Jack Palance playing Carl Grissom. He's a crime boss, and Jack Nicholson right now is not yet the Joker in the movie. He's Jack Napier. He's just some, sharply dressed purple suit dude who looks like Jack Nicholson and plays with cards, and one of the cards, of course, is a Joker. But Jack Palance makes his appearance. Now, he's a legend, okay, and he's been on so much stuff. You'll know him from his voice, his raspy voice, and he won an Oscar in City Slickers, and Hey, kill anyone today, Curly? Day ain't over yet. He's excellent. He won his Oscar for that, but I'll get to like his famous thing that he does. But Jack Palance, right? He played Dracula on TV in '74. Almost everyone's played Dracula. You gotta, if you have a little class, and a good voice, maybe, and you want to sink your teeth into some scenery, you could play Dracula. But of course, I remember him best as Khalil in a 1979 Buck Rogers episode. He's this like messiah, that this evil messiah, is like trying to lead all these people. He's got this white robe on. He has these hands that glow. And don't be afraid. Only the weak are afraid. My touch is the touch of truth. And if he touches you, you die. But only if you believe in him, right? So, his hammy acting, he didn't have me convinced for a second. Of course, Buck Rogers was able to just stand there and his hands went out and they defeated him like that. It was stupid. But he did a lot of yelling. He was great at like walking around and yelling and preaching about a lot of things. He's awesome. He loves to overact and yell. He's in this really bad sci-fi monster movie, Without Warning, from 1980, where this creature from outer space comes to Earth. This creature's been killing people all over town. Jack Palance goes after him with a shotgun. And he's like yelling, "Alien! Alien!" Because the thing never told us its name. But, it's too busy flinging jellyfish at people and sucking their blood out with these dumb jellyfish frisbee things it throws. So anyway, that movie was stupid. And he was like the bad guy in Hawk the Slayer. Oh, yeah, let's not forget the Sylvester Stallone, Kurt Russell, Tango and Cash, Cash and Tango. He's excellent in that, too. He's always a bad guy. He's great. So the thing he does here, he's a bad guy in Batman, too. He's another bad guy, but he's not going to be around too long because there's a bigger bad guy in the form of the Joker who will take him out. All right, so Jack Palance makes his signature dialogue when he has a newspaper with a picture of Billy D. Williams on it, the DA, and he's into some corrupt stuff, Palance, so he's going like, "Say, this son of a bitch makes a connection with us, and with Axis Chemicals. What kind of damage are we looking at?" So Jack Palance, in case you haven't figured it out yet, loves to do son of a bitch. And he did that even when he won his Oscar for City Slickers. He looks at the statue and he's like, "Son of a bitch." But yeah, you could say that on TV when you win Oscars. You can even slap people when you win Oscars now. It's just like, damn, it's like unheralded. You could just grab Halle Berry and smooch her just because you won an Oscar. Not like she voted for you, but anyways, me too, hello. But that's Jack Palance. And I love the way he says, "son of a bitch," in a lot of things. It's just like his calling card. And then the only other actor I've ever known who has their own signature son of a bitch that they do almost as well is Jim Belushi. You just watch Jim Belushi in almost any movie when he gets even the slightest bit irritated, but he builds it up a little bit. He's like, "Son of a bitch." He has like a slingshot drawing back the rock. "Son of a bitch." And he releases it. It's great. Just watch him. The Principal is one such example. Good movie. You'll see. All right. But all right, let's talk Batman, shall we? Of course. There's a lot to get through. Okay. So you got Grissom there, and he wants Jack to do some job that is ill-fated and is probably going to get Jack arrested because Jack Palance knows that Jack Nicholson there is fooling around with his lady, Jerry Hall, Mick Jagger's lady. And we have Lieutenant Eckhart on the police, played by William Hootkins, who you'd remember as Porkins from Star Wars. And he's also Top Man in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and he was in Flash Gordon in 1980. He was Munson. He's just in these great movies playing very, very minor characters. All right, so let's get back to this plot here. All right, we have Alexander Knox there. This is this annoying reporter. This reporter is played by Robert Wool, and he always says a lot of things, and he thinks he's funny, but he's not that funny. He's kind of like Seth Rogen without the pot and without the humor. Oh, it sounds like him a little bit. He's just like, "Oh, hey, Vale." And he sees Vicky Vale, played by Kim Basinger. Very beautiful. Yeah, she has to be the love interest in here. All right, so anyway, Vicky Vale is a reporter. She also have all this serious crap in her portfolio. They're trying to investigate this Batman they've been seeing around Gotham City. And who is he? He's some crazy vigilante, because the cops can't really do much anyway. Bruce Wayne, of course, we know, is Batman. And Bruce Wayne, I don't know why I keep whispering it. You already know. Batman! All right, yeah. Michael Keaton is playing two roles. When he has the mask on, he's Batman. When he's not, he's just Michael Keaton being very Keaton-y and doing the shit that he does. He's got his little comic timing and his delivery. He's like always like this. And he's always like looking around left and right. He's like sharp, talking quickly and stuff. A little bit like Shatner, but much better than Shat. So he has like this really, really big mansion. Of course, he has Alfred the Butler, played by Michael Gough, and he's in all four of the Batman movies that were made in that era, all the way up till Clooney. And we got some new Alfreds later on. He has a few funny lines. So, all right, there's a charity ball there in Wayne Manor and everything, and Alfred slips him a little bit of a, secret. You better go down to the Batcave. Yeah, there's some shit going on. So he goes and checks out his technology, which looks like it's all from Radio Shack. It's a little bit dated. You get to see what kind of fancy crap Batman has. It's not all cool CG flying stuff that he has now, like the Chris Nolan Batman stuff or whatever, anything like that. It's like James Bond. Q would make things for Bond in the 60s that you laugh at now, but back then you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. An electric shaver that also has a a phone in it. Ooh, you secret agent, man, MI6. You got all this crazy shit. All right, so there's something going down in Axis Chemicals, right? That's where Jack Nicholson goes. And they're supposed to rob a safe, and there's nothing in the safe. So he knows he got set up by Jack Palance. Because you can only have one Jack in this act. It's a washout, boys. Watch your backs. Jack Nicholson's like trying to get away from the cops are closing in. Nicholson grabs an axe, man. And it's like just for a few seconds, he holds an axe and starts chopping tanks of chemicals open. I was really wishing he'd just go find a nice hotel room door and, here's Johnny. Doesn't do none of that, though. Shelley Duvall was nowhere near Axis Chemicals. Otherwise, yeah, he might have been chopping away at her bathroom door. But yeah, then Batman shows up. He goes, nice outfit. Bob the Goon is holding a gun on a cop, and Batman has like a standoff, and you think he disappears, but then he reappears behind Jack, and Jack ends up getting dropped into a vat of chemicals, and this is when he rises out later and becomes the Joker. I don't know if it just changes his complexion, makes him psychotic, I don't really know. He sniffs a few too many fumes from the glue or whatever the shit was. This is green stuff. It's just, it's a comic book origin story. Just go figure. Most people would just dissolve. They fell into a vat of this toxic shit, but not Jack. Jack has to just come out and be the Joker, because otherwise we'd have no movie. It would just be Batman arresting random thugs around the city, and that's boring. Okay, so Kim Basinger is getting kind of cozy there with Bruce Wayne, and she sleeps with him eventually. It's like, I don't know, they just meet very simply, and then he's hanging upside down. She doesn't put it together that, maybe he's Batman because he sleeps hanging upside down. And his arms, like, flexed out like wings. But, yeah, she's not too bright. I don't care what the hell she does in the third world countries and the shit that she takes pictures of. I don't know. I think somebody does it for her. I think she just downloads all the shit. Cuts them out of magazines and puts her name on the portfolio. Whatever. So, Bruce. The Joker shows up at Jack Palance's penthouse there. Is that you, Sugar Bums? No, it's me, Sugar Bums. Jack. Oh, I'm so happy you're alive. And his hands start glowing. Shoots him. That's it. Gets rid of Jack Palance. No more of him. I'm a lot happier. He's got a big smile on his face. His face is stretched into this permanent smile, which he's going to also make sure happens to everybody else in Gotham City with his chemical poisoning. This is like his product tampering, and he's terrorizing Gotham by putting all kinds of crazy chemicals in their products. Cosmetics and medicines and shit. You can't even brush your teeth. You might come out looking like a clown. Smilex. It's like the secret ingredient, and it's on the news. And of course, Batman has all this technology and science kits and test tubes, and him and Alfred are going to try to figure it out and crack the code, and he's going to send an anonymous editorial to the paper. Guest editor Batman tells you, don't use this combination of deodorant and ketchup, and you will be fine. Yes, stuff like that. It's silly. So anyway, the Smilex pandemic thing is taken care of. It's like, yeah, just keep it out of coffee and beer, and I'm fine. You go ahead, do it whatever the fuck you want with it. And so Vicky Vale is nosing around following Bruce Wayne when he drops flowers on the sidewalk, which is where his parents were killed long ago outside of a theater when he was with them. And the guy that shot his parents, of course, we find out later on, was really a young Jack Napier, or Jack Nicholson, the Joker. Yeah, we put it together. Asks him, hey kid, you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? See, kid. Off into the mist. And then he'll remember that quote later on because it's so unique and so memorable. And nobody says that, not even like in songs. You never even hear that shit in like a Kanye song or anything like that. So it's going to be something that comes back to Bruce when he meets the Joker sometime later on. He'll know it's him. But I think he's a lot smarter. Keaton's no idiot. So there's this scene in City Hall, and the mimes are all coming and converging on it, and this is like the first time Bruce Wayne, as Bruce, meets the Joker, and there's all kind of chaos going on, and Alfred got a look at Vicky Vale, and he's like, he approves, I guess. Yeah, she is great, isn't she? Yes, much. And the Joker finds out about Vicky Vale, too, so now there's going to be a love triangle with Batman, Vicky Vale, and the Joker. And who do you think she's going to end up with and sleep with? He goes, Bob, phone book. He wants to go out on town and get a date with Vicky Vale, because he's the Joker. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. Do I look like I'm joking? So there's a scene at the Flugelheim Museum, which is, of course, a funny name that sounds like a little bit like Guggenheim Museum, but it ain't. And there's all these classical pieces of art and shit that are getting wrecked, and Joker and his gang go through there. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence? And they put on some crappy Prince song, Buddy Man. And they start knocking shit over and spray painting and being idiots. And then he sees one good painting that looks like the Heath Ledger Joker, like a little premonition there. He's like, nah, Bob, I kind of like this one. Leave it. And he meets Vicky Vale there, like she's the only person in the museum who hasn't been knocked out by gas because she got a little present with a gas mask on it. And they chat, and Joker's trying to charm her and scare the crap out of her at the same time. They have a romantic candlelit boombox dinner, but then Batman comes in with a cable and gets her out. Get in the car. Which one? you see the Batmobile, and it looks awesome. And then she gets in it with him, and this is the only time you ever see anyone else in the Batmobile except Batman. She's special. And then he lets her in the Batcave later, too. Well, Alfred lets her in. I don't know, I guess maybe he wants a piece of it, too, because he's supposed to be security on top of all else. He's supposed to protect the identity of Batman. But Vicky Vale, she would never figure it out until he lets her into the damn Batcave. Like, oh, wow, this place is creepy. Why does Bruce live here? Yeah, she'll figure it out. There's a couple of good fight scenes. There's this crazy henchman guy who does all this ninja shit, and Batman just knocks him down. One quick blow, well choreographed, is cool. Sparks will fly. It's still a while before she finds out that it's really Batman, but she can't even tell it's Bruce Wayne by the voice because he's talking like this. He just lowers his voice a little bit to register. It's not like Christian Bale would meet you as Bruce Wayne, like, "Hi, how are you? Welcome to the party." So yeah, Bruce Wayne is a little bit more subtle here as Bruce. Keaton, he plays himself a little bit better than he plays Batman. At Vicky's place, he's trying to reconcile. He wants to tell her the truth. He wants to admit, I'm Batman. He wants to tell her that, and he lip syncs it when she's turned away and she's answering the door, and a fucking Joker shows up and ruins everything. Bruce Wayne, Nisba, sometime. I know you are. See, there's this guy, Jack, bad guy, like hurting people. I like him already. So this doesn't go as well as it sounds. Bruce Wayne, Keaton starts going crazy. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. And then, you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? Whoa. I always ask that of all my prey. I just like the sound of it. Shoots Bruce Wayne, but he has a silver serving tray under his shirt there, so he doesn't die. But otherwise, he would die, because Bruce Wayne is not superhuman. He just happens to have one clever idea in order to save his own life from a bullet. As long as he doesn't get shot in the damn face, he'd be fine. But Vicky's screaming. Kim Basinger does an awful lot of screaming in this movie. I think that's half her dialogue. Just do one and loop it, man. I don't know, she must ruined her vocal cords for this damn movie. Things start getting more intense, more action, once Batman comes back and he's healed up and everything like that. And then Vicky comes into the cave. Yeah, thanks, Alfred. You fucked everything up. Then Batman decides to strike back. He starts blowing up Axis chemicals, which is very easy because everything there is toxic, flammable, and volatile. But, he misses the Joker. He's in a helicopter. Hey, miss me, Batsy. Woohoo. And he has this one pissed off looking Batman face. The jaw looks really good. You can actually express emotions in that bat cowl. It's pretty good. So pissed Batman looks away. And then the final, sequence of the film, there's this huge parade with all these balloon floats and things. And the Joker promises to throw $1 million to the crowd, but it's all fake money. And then he gasses everybody with the Smilax, and they're all dying and smiling with their hands full of questionable Monopoly money. But then you see the Batwing come out, and it flies up to the moon, and you see the icon for a few seconds so the audience can clap. Flies back down. Batman's attacking the Joker. The Joker has this one silly comical gun with a really long barrel, and he takes one shot at the Batwing, and it seems to really knock it out. It goes crashing into the cathedral steps. Joker goes up the stairs with Vicky. A lot of stairs. And there's a really, really long sequence up there with the bell tower and lots of fights and stuff. And Batman and the Joker smack each other around a bit. Mostly the Joker gets smacked around with those little props. And, only his henchmen can fight. Jack doesn't do shit. He just tells a lot of really bad jokes. You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you? Beauty and the Beast. Of course, if anyone else calls you Beast, I'll rip their lungs out. Being real Jack, some of this was probably ad-libbed, but sooner or later, we have to get to the end, and we have to get rid of the Joker. He tries to escape on a helicopter ladder, and then Batman shoots a cable thing, and it wraps around the Joker's ankle, and the other end wraps around a very heavy stone gargoyle, which gets pulled off the cathedral, and starts pulling Joker down, and he can't hang on. He's slipping down the ladder. It's very, very exciting, but yeah, that's it. He's going down, all the way to the bottom, crashes, and he has this laugh box that's still going, even though he's probably fell 60 stories. He's definitely dead, but you still hear the very cool. So Joker's presumably dead. Batman's, him and Vicky Vale are still dating, I guess, and we ain't gonna see her again in the next movie, so don't worry about it. It's not like that. It's a long-term thing. Batman can't have any attachments, just Alfred, that's it. Him and his old butler. That's the only relationship that lasts. So, as Batman ends, alternate Batmans, okay, here's the fun part, right? Yeah, you were also worried that they were going to cast Michael Keaton as Batman, but look at who else could have been Batman. They were either considered for, or they auditioned for, or somebody just woke up and said, hey, what about? And then that was it. But let's do it real quick. Kurt Russell, Al Pacino, Nicolas Cage, Harrison Ford, Michael Biehn, Sean Penn. Yeah, he'd be very brooding. He could do it now, I guess. Matthew Broderick, nah, too cutesy, too funny. Sylvester Stallone. Nah, he played Judge Dredd, same shit. Bruce Willis. Yeah, sure, he has the voice for it. I'm sorry, I didn't do any, Kurt Russell's or Al Pacino voices. I'm Batman. You make sure you hear him if he tells you, I'm Batman. Why you let Vicky into the Batcave? Alfred, what do I pay you for? All right, I keep going. Alternate Jokers. Yes, yeah, who could have been the Joker? They were maybe considering or talking to Willem Dafoe, but it's all right. He was already the Green Goblin. Tim Curry, David Bowie, Jeff Goldblum. No, Jeff Goldblum, he's a Joker. He's funny, but he would not be a good Joker. I don't think so. Maybe the Riddler. I don't know. James Woods. Yeah, James Woods is so fucking intense. He could have been a Joker. Donald Sutherland. And I don't know about him. President Snow's good. John Lithgow, crazy enough, perhaps, back in the time. Brad Dourif, yes, he was a maniac. But all these guys, I mean, come on, you can't add out Jack. So Nicholson was the shit. He did his thing. He's the Joker. He had a great time playing the Joker. I think it was a lot happier than, like, future Jokers like Heath Ledger, who probably got way too into the role and it started affecting him mentally. But yeah, you shouldn't go so deep, man. That's why you can't make Batman so fucking dark, because people get all method and then they get, depressed, and God knows, their whole life takes a tailspin because of some crazy role that you just take way too serious. It's just a comic book, man, right? It's a clown. I know clowns are all tormented and people are scared of clowns and shit, especially Pennywise, but I don't know. I think Tim Curry had a fun time playing Pennywise, and maybe Bill Skarsgård had a little more mental scarring afterwards. But yeah, it's fun, you just hammer it up in makeup. It's great. Just do it. You're in Batman, for God's sakes. Just have fun and be happy. Alrighty, so, what else happens? So Batman was shot in Pinewood Studios, and what's awesome about the beginning of shooting Batman is they still had leftover sets from James Cameron's Aliens. So it was like a full alien nest with a bunch of eggs and shit there, and the atmosphere processor. It's like, God, it could have been like two different movies, man. Or maybe Batman versus Xeno. I'm sure they have a video game or a comic book where that happens. Batman already fought the Predators. I think Predators are basically like Batman with dreadlocks from another planet, because they have the gadgets and they can kill your ass with different things, but nobody knows who the Predators really are. Like, they could be millionaires in nice mansions on their home planet. Who knows? Yeah, but so there's no Robin in this movie, thank God. There might have been a Robin, and the script had some shit about Robin, and 19-year-old Kiefer Sutherland was supposed to be playing Robin, but in less than 24, that whole idea was nixed. And what else? Oh, Ray Liotta was offered so many roles in the movie. Bruce Wayne, Harvey Dent, or the Joker. Like, Ray Liotta could have tried playing any or all of those things, and it would have been all right. It would have been fun, but he decided to do Goodfellas, and I think he was much more perfect for that. And one more Star Wars connection. In addition to Porkins there, William Hookins playing, "Hey Edgar, think about the future," the corrupt lieutenant there. There is also the tourist dad at the start of the movie that you see is Garrick Hogan, who played Luke's best buddy Biggs in the 1970s New Hope Star Wars movie. So you have Biggs and Porkins, and they both flew X-Wings together with Luke in Star Wars. And they didn't make it through the battle, I think Porkins was just too easy a target, and Biggs was, the sentimental value had to be sacrificed there for poor Luke to have even more motive to blow that fucking Death Star up. So, okay, that was Batman, all right? I hope you enjoyed Batman. We're going to take a quick moment there, and we're going to get ready for Batman Returns, because I don't want to spoil anything, but, Batman comes back in that one. All right, then let's get on with it, shall we? Now we're talking a few years later, 1992's Batman Returns, which many consider to be even better than Batman. Although, Batman doesn't show up quite as much in this movie. There's a lot of other crap going on. It's starting to get a little bit crowded in the cast. This is where the Batman movies start growing exponentially. And how many characters and villains and, alternate plots and shit are we going to throw into the same movie and still keep people's attention? But, it gets to the point here where it's still tolerable, enjoyable, and a little chaotic, but in a very entertaining way. So Batman Returns is a little more circusy, and there's a wintry feel to it. It's very, very, I think even like the logo is covered in snow in the beginning, and it's very icy and cold, and it starts off like kind of Christmassy. I think Tim Burton and dark Christmas stuff go so well together, and especially the Danny Elfman music, all these choirs and stuff playing. It's great. It's almost like you expect Jack Skellington to pop out any moment there and have some horrible Nightmare Before Christmas kind of thing. And this movie almost looks like a Nightmare Before Christmas style villains, a whole bunch of circus acts and vaudeville sideshow kind of characters that we'll see teaming up with the Penguin. The cast is almost the same as the original Batman. We don't have to go through all that again. We have a few new people here this time. They're really great in the story and the plot, and I'll drop a few names as we go through. We'll find out who everyone is, yeah? Okay, so we have a snowy opening, and we see the Cobblepot's mansion, all right? The parents of Oswald Cobblepot, and the dad is played by Paul Rubens, who you might remember, of course, is alter ego Pee Wee Herman. And, of course, Tim Burton directed him in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and yeah, he has a little cameo here, and he doesn't really say anything or do anything goofy. He's just the snobby father who doesn't like the son that he had, because the son turned out like a half bird, half baby, and with flippers and shit. So they chuck him in the sewer. They just take the stroller out and they dump him in the river and let him go float down the sewer. That's horrible to do to any child or pet, but that's what happens to the penguin there, little kid, and he gets met by a whole bunch of penguins in the sewer. Now, I don't know. I've never seen a penguin anywhere near a sewer in any city I've ever gone to, but all right, we'll buy that. It could have been like, a rat. It could have grown up to be a rat instead of a penguin, and would have made a whole lot more sense. And you could have Batman and Ratman having a big fight, and it would make more sense. But okay, it's penguins. I guess it's like a really clean, very cold Arctic sewer, just like, you'd expect it to be. So 33 years pass by. It's Christmas in Gotham City, and we see a tree lighting, and there's a department store called Shrek's. Now, it isn't about that big green Mike Myers animated character. No, it's not that. Sorry, we're not going to see that kind of Shrek in this movie, but we're going to see a better Shrek, okay? We're going to see the character of Max Schreck was made up for this movie. There's no character in Batman called Max Schreck, but there is. The actor who played Nosferatu in 1922 is named Max Schreck, and I guess that's where they took that from. But the actor who plays our Max Schreck is our absolute favorite scenery-stealing, wacko fucking actor, Christopher Walken. So when I found out he's in this movie, I didn't even care that we have a Batman or anybody else. It's Walken, man. Walken returns. I wanted to change the letters on the movie theater marquees in the middle of the night as a cool act of vandalism, because, who cares about Batman? So we have Christopher Walken in here, and let's be serious. I mean, he does pretty much steal the damn movie. He has, like, all the best lines, all the best scenes, got a big fright wig of white hair. He's all dressed up immaculately in the suit, and he wears spats. He's like a, big, prominent, well-to-do, owns a department store, but he's also corrupt, and he wants to harness the power, as always, Gotham's Power Station, the spin-off of Duran Duran, and it's the Power Station, and it's going to harness power. He's as power hungry as usual. And he has a secretary there played by Michelle Pfeiffer, is Selena Kyle. But, all you Batman geeks know Selena Kyle is really the alter ego of Catwoman. Well, she will be soon enough. But, she's very, very, mousy and nervous and awkward. It's just so you can see the contrast when she turns into a sex kitten later on with the whip. But this is her, and she's very subservient and nervous, and, she's intimidated by Max there and probably doesn't pay her well. But at least he doesn't, sexually harass her, as far as I could tell. Too busy doing other things and checking how to speak every sentence he speaks as Walken. Okay, so you have a meeting with Bruce Wayne, and, Bruce and Max don't really like each other. Well, Bruce and Selena kind of, flirt a tiny, tiny bit there. And Max Schreck has a son, Chip, all right? He's got a chip on his shoulder, and his son even talks like him in a later scene. He goes, "Dad, go, save yourself. Dad, go." You're a chip off the old block. All right, but I'll go. But Chip is like the son. Chip is played by Andrew Brun... Let's make sure I say his name right. Andrew Bruniarski. He's really tall, 6'5", and his other notable screen appearances were somewhere in Hudson Hawk with Bruce Willis, and he also played Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. So yeah, but he's a strapping, handsome lad here, playing Chip Schreck. So I don't know why he played Leatherface, just because he's freaking tall, I guess, and he's good with a chainsaw. So we'll see the Penguin is going to show up now after 33 years. You're going to see Danny DeVito in full-on Penguin makeup, which is really excellent. And he doesn't do any of that Burgess Meredith wah, wah, wah stuff. I want you to hoid him, Rock. I want you to murder the bum. He doesn't do any of that Burgess Meredith stuff. For a few seconds, he does have the cigarette holder and the top hat and things like that. He just wanted to pay a little homage there to the original Penguin, but this one's much more hideous, and he really has a long beaky nose, and he just, it's like Danny DeVito. I mean, I don't know if it's an insult or not to say, but he's perfectly suited to play the Penguin, because he's that type of body shape, and he can inhabit the character and eat raw fish and stuff like that. And he does a great job. He's very good, even though the dialogue is extremely hammy and ridiculous, but what do you want? It's Batman. It's a little goofier than the first one, but it's a whole lot of fun. All right, so the Penguin has a whole bunch of these people from the sewer that are his gang, the circus gang, and all these other misfits that raised him. And, he was like a penguin boy, I guess, in the little traveling circuses. That's how he made his way through the years. But he eventually finds out, who he is. He finds out that his parents, let him go, and he knows what his name is, and he goes to City Hall, and he becomes all this public figure. Everyone's, so sympathetic to him. But what he really wants to do later on is have revenge and kill all the firstborn sons of Gotham to just show him what it's like to be treated like shit as a firstborn son. So yeah, that's his big plot. He's like studying up on who he wants to kidnap and sacrifice and throw into the sewer and drown all these little kids. It's cruel, but, thankfully we never see that happen because, Batman's around. But Batman has other shit to deal with, too. There's a whole lot of crime in the city, and these cuckoo-ass people from Penguin's gang almost attack Michelle Pfeiffer in the street there, but then Batman saves her. Well, the Batman, or is it just Batman? And he disappears. Nothing happens there. He knows she's cute and stuff, but yeah, he doesn't find out until much later on who she's going to be, and then maybe he'd stick around a little bit longer. So Danny DeVito is showing off his umbrella collection, and he gets Christopher Walken down on the sewer there and blackmailing him to make a deal and trying to help him rise up in society, like, okay, I'll be mayor. So we'd have like Mayor Cobblepot, just because he has a sad luck story. Everyone wants to elect him mayor. This is how we elect our officials in Gotham City. Look at this, man, right? So anyway, Michelle Pfeiffer is snooping around. Did we say much about Michelle Pfeiffer already? I don't know. We must have said a few things about her. We know how great she is and all the movies she's done. Grease 2. All right, well, better than that. Scarface, yes. Lady Hawk. Witches of Eastwick. Wolf with Jack Nicholson. Both of them. What Lies Beneath with Harrison Ford. Excellent movie. And she was in Dark Shadows in 2012, another Burton movie. And she's just great. Love Michelle Pfeiffer. And she's really good when she becomes Catwoman. She really, starts getting really into the character and really into the role. I don't think she had to be like vacuum sealed into her costume, but it's great. She just dives into it, man, with abandon. And she learned how to use a whip, which is also good, except maybe for her instructor, who got a couple of chunks of flesh torn out of his face once or twice. But it's all right. The final product, the final film, speaks for itself. Who needs a face? It's okay. Now, she lives in a really pink place. Everything's all girly and stuff. She has cats. And later on, when she goes back to snoop around the office, Shrek's office, she's going through all his files and finding out the plan for the power plant. And she figures out, my boss is up to no good. And he's there, and he sees her working late. Like, oh yeah, I just had some things to finish up. What did curiosity do to the cat? I'm no cat. I'm just a secretary. It's not like you could just kill me. Actually, it's a lot like that. Still gets her laughing and out the window, falls down like 6 stories, lands in the snow, and she's dead. But then all the cats come licking her, and when cats lick her, she starts twitching, coming back to life. Maybe the cats give her back 9 lives, or some magical bullshit like that. Just because she has a lot of cats, and these are all cats in the alley, I really don't know. I mean, I've cat sit before, and, I don't expect these cats to save my life if I die. I expect them to eat me. And that's probably what would have happened to Michelle Pfeiffer if she wasn't supposed to be Catwoman. She would have been cat food. Just because they're little, they're basically just miniature tigers, and tigers and panthers and leopards will fucking chew you to bits if they find your dead body before you start to rot and decompose. They're going to get some nice, tasty meat there, Michelle Pfeiffer, blonde, yes. Delicious. So, all right, so Catwoman is Catwoman now. She's not Selena anymore, but she still goes back to work, a couple of days later, with like bags under her eyes and, walking things like she's supposed to be dead. So, did you injure yourself on that ski slope? And then she's like acting all purry and getting all like seductive and badass now. She's not so subservient anymore. You don't trust her. Women, nothing surprises me. Bottom line, she tries to blackmail me and drop her out a higher window. For now, I got better fish to fry. And Walken just delivers another line, boom, into the stratosphere. Just so fucking quotable. Love that guy. He could say anything, man. He's just the best. All right, so we get the mayor plot. And speaking of fish and better fish to fry or raw fish, it's you see Danny DeVito eating a raw fish, and they're trying to give him like a nice publicity meeting and a little makeover. And we see our late Saturday Night Live cast member Jan Hooks is in a scene there, trying to help the Penguin become more acceptable as a mayoral candidate. But then Catwoman comes around, blows up some of Shrek's department store. Meow. That's like her big entrance there. And the guards are like catching her there, and she's whipping at them and running away. And then she meets up with Batman. They have this crazy fight on the roof, and he throws this explosive vial of chemical shit at her arm. Some weird thing. I thought Batman could be a little bit more, crafty than that. But Batman has this cool batarang thing, but a poodle catches it and brings it back to one of the henchmen or henchwomen. And they're going to use that thing later on to sabotage an event and frame Batman for murder. So the plot does have some cool twists going on. So yeah, Bruce is hooking up here now with Selena Kyle, getting her to have dinner at the mansion there. This is a good scene, like where Batman realizes he has to go to some crime-related thing going on. Like, oh, Alfred, could you just like tell her I had a... No, wait. Do you know any dirty limericks? One has just sprung to mind. Yeah, sorry. It's a really cool scene where Alfred is all baffled between Selina and Bruce trying to ask him to make excuses for them because they really like each other, but they also have other things to do because, whenever something's going down, Batman has to show up, but then so does Catwoman. She's important too. She has to be at every major crime event in Gotham City now to either be a part of it or to fuck it up. So there's this Christmas tree lighting ceremony and the Ice Queen, this ice skating, whatever, Nancy Kerrigan or whatever the fuck she is, girl, is there, and they kidnap her and they put her at the edge of a building and Batman shows up and it's like, careful. The Penguin there throws a javelin umbrella and lets all these bats out, and the girl falls to her death, and then all these bats come flying out of the Christmas tree. It's like, look, it's Batman up on the roof. Like, they know, like, hey, that's all the evidence you need. Batman just killed somebody. And the Penguin's like, gotta fly. And he takes a little helicopter umbrella shit. I mean, his umbrellas do everything except protect you from rain, I think. It's like very crafty with the umbrellas. I don't know who he got to design them all. Maybe he has his own private Penguin queue down there in the sewer, making all his umbrellas. Now, pay attention, 007. This one is not impermeable. But somehow they get the blueprints to the damn Batmobile. Nobody knows why, but there's probably some explanation. Some disgruntled designer might have sold them somewhere to the crime syndicate, and the Penguins people get their hands on the Batmobile blueprint. So they start hooking up some remote control thing under the Batmobile so they can take it over when Batman tries to drive away. Yeah, and Catwoman and Penguin are having a little fight there and disagreements, and then he takes her up on an umbrella and she gets dropped to her presumed second death. Lands in a truck full of cat litter or something. It's like so convenient that it's right there for her, but she's apparently dead again. And she keeps dying or getting dropped off of very, very high buildings, or later on she gets a couple of bullets in her and she just keeps on coming because she's supposed to have 9 lives, just like Morris. Okay, so now we have the remote control Batmobile, and the Penguin is on his little toy Batmobile, and he's like, I don't know if I should tell you, but my license has expired. And Batman puts in a CDR into his drive there just to try to catch some dialogue here. He's, I'll take care of these squealing puppets of Gotham. You gotta admit, I played this stinking city like a harp from hell. And Batman gets it all on CD. Or maybe on MP3, I don't know. Maybe you could stream it on Spotify, but it's in there somewhere. He's got it. It's in the cloud. So he's going to use this shit later on to help, foil the Cobblepot Penguin mayor election day. So that's good. But in the meantime, he finds a stupid remote control ball thing on the bottom of the Batmobile and he chucks it out. And Penguin's like, he's all furious, shaking his stupid car. And then Batman punches the TV screen off. Since everything else is fucked anyway, just break your TV too. You'll get Alfred to just buy a new one. At the Penguin's inauguration or whatever it is, Batman plays as he's doing his speech. Well, first thing I like to do is, and he plays all that incriminating dialogue that they recorded earlier. And after that, he goes scratching the CD like a DJ. I don't know if you can really do that, but it's funny anyways. All right, good for you, Batman. You bust a move out there on a dance floor. Michael Keaton even did have a cameo in the Prince Bat Dance video. Not that it makes it much better, but that's a crazy video too. Prince was doing his own little Two-Face thing there. He's half Batman and half Joker. It's almost exactly the same as Harvey Two-Face Dent. But anyway, that was the other movie. There's no more Prince in this fucking movie. There is one good song in the movie, though. That's not Prince, and it's not just Danny Elfman. It's Susie and the Banshees do a song called Face to Face. It's a very good song. It's kind of moody and atmospheric. And yeah, even the singer Susie Sue herself might have made a decent Catwoman. Just don't know if she can act. But yeah, she definitely could look the part. But Michelle Pfeiffer did just fine. She's good. There is another Penguin henchman I just want to mention before I forget. He's Organ Grinder. He's this guy with this little cranky box that plays music and this little monkey. That's Vincent Schiavelli, a really very easily recognizable character actor. He's got a very long, sleepy kind of face, and he was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in 1975, and I've seen him also in the Michael Keaton, Henry Winkler movie Night Shift from 1982 as a guy delivering a sandwich, and I just really would have loved to have him walk up to Michael Keaton in this Batman movie or knock on the door of Wayne Manor, where the fuck is 4K? And just ask him that, and it would baffle him, but only a few of us would get it. And he was also on Star Trek The Next Generation, the Arsenal of Freedom. He was selling the weapons, demonstrating that as they're killing the crew of the Enterprise, do you want to buy these? Look how well they work. And of course, he was one of the henchmen in Tomorrow Never Dies, the Bond movie, who kills one of Bond's girlfriends. Yeah, so of course he's not going to survive that. You don't do that, man. I know Bond has an endless supply of women, but you don't kill one and not pay for it. You should know better. We also have Doug Jones, the really tall, skinny dude who plays the fish guy in Hellboy and all those monsters in Pan's Labyrinth, all those Guillermo del Toro movies, and plays Haru in Star Trek Discovery. And yeah, he's just a really tall, limber, skinny guy, and he can play anybody who fits the bill there. And of course, on the other end of the spectrum, we have the short people, like Felix Sia playing one of the Penguins. Felix Sia, if anyone is a sci-fi geek, knows that that's Tweaky from the 80s Buck Rogers. Beady, beady, beady. Yeah. The worst voice Mel Blanc ever voiced as well. So, yeah, you can see Tweaky as a penguin. I completely lost my place, just like I do when I watch the movie. Batman finally gets his Batmobile back under control, and it becomes skinny. It can go between buildings. It's so cool. You know, every movie the Batmobile gets refit, revamped, and has some other cool tricks it could do, and it looks different, and it's just cool. So now there's a Max Schreck masquerade party that Bruce Wayne only goes to because he thinks he's going to see Selina there. You know, I mean, they don't make plans on their own. They're not at that level yet. So he just goes there, and she's there, and they're the only ones not wearing masks. And Walken shows up, starts being sarcastic with Bruce Wayne. I don't know who's behind this Cobblepot guy, but I'm going to find out. Yawn. How about some music, Bruce? I get something with cowbell for you. A little Blue Oyster Cult. But then Susie and the Banshees start playing that song there, and then Bruce and Selina are dancing, and they start using this dialogue from when they were fighting as Batman and Catwoman. It's like, oh, what a coincidence. Like, oh my god, deja vu. We know those words, and does that mean we have to start fighting now? Oh my god, they realize who they are. They know who the other secret identity is, and then they hug. We don't know if they're going to be together or not, or if they're going to just fight. And then all of a sudden, bam, the Penguin crashes the party. You didn't invite me, so I crashed. Very good there, Danny. He's being his usual Danny DeVito self. Oh, and hey, who doesn't know what the hell Danny DeVito's been in? Because also, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Taxi, Romancing the Stone, Ruthless People, Twins, LA Confidential, The Kominsky Method, just getting back together with Michael Douglas there, and Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So if you don't know any or all of those Danny DeVito things, please, I just hope it's not just the Penguin that brought him to your attention. Nah, Danny DeVito, man, short in stature, but colossal in talent. Yeah, the guy is, he's amazing, yeah. Really did a terrific job here, even though, again, his dialogue is annoying and his penguin character just takes way, way, way too long to die, finally. We don't even know what it is that kills him in the very, very end, but stick with it. I'll pick up the pace here a little bit. Alright, so yeah, the stupid masquerade party, besides playing the Susie song, they're playing a really terrible version of Rick James' Super Freak, or maybe it's Can't Touch This, depending on what era you're from, but it's that. It's pretty bad. And then Penguin wants to take Max Schreck prisoners. You're coming with me, Max! Because he wants to take him down to the sewer. And so Walken is caged there with crazy white hair. And then Batman stops the kidnapping of all the kids. There's these trains that are trying to kidnap the kids, and the penguins are going around with these missiles on their backs, and it's really weird. All these little penguin animatronics and real emperor penguins were used in the movie, but a lot of these penguins were created by Stan Winston's studio. Underneath these little fake penguins is probably like an endoskeleton of the Terminator. I don't think they kill any of the penguins. They're like harmless, innocent little aquatic birds, and they're so cute. You don't want to kill them, but you just got to disarm them. So Batman and Alfred are able to reprogram the signal that's on the penguin missile launch things and send them back to the DeVito penguin's lair. I don't know how they fucking foil all his shit. I guess it's just the same way that they got the blueprints to the Batmobile. So alright, yeah, we went on our own early version of the web that Batman created instead of waiting for AOL or anything like that. And they figure out all this shit to foil the penguin, but then we have Catwoman and Batman going down into the sewer there. He uses his bat plane. It's pretty cool. It doesn't last very long. He's getting fired at. It crashes into the water, and all the goons and Penguin's henchmen are leaving and abandoning him there, and the lights are getting dim, and there's that stupid duck that he's trying to drive around, this giant duck toy from the zoo. And then the bat wing comes through the surface, the bat plane, whatever the bat Uber, whatever he's flying around down there. He always has a new vehicle there, bat Segway. And he crashes through the ice there, and the penguin's thing crashes. He flips over, and he runs through the snow. It's very weird choreography and what the hell's going on. All the missiles come back and blow up the penguin's lair. And Max Walken gets the key from the monkey. Yeah, the monkey must be a fan as well, lets him out, gets out, and then he gets caught by a whip because Catwoman comes back to settle the score with her nasty boss. And then Bruce Wayne shows up. He's like, Selina, you don't want to do this. And he pulls off his rubber mask. See, underneath we're both the same. You get it? You see what I'm saying? Doing this Keaton shit. And then Shrek is like, Selina Kyle, you're fired. And Bruce Wayne, what are you doing dressed like Batman? Because he is Batman, you moron. Excuse me, do you mind? I'm sorry. Why am I dressed like Batman? Because I'm Batman. I know. I had a feeling when I shook your hand earlier Max Shrek is like shooting Selena. You got enough bullets to finish me off? One way to find out. Got 9 lives, and she's like counting and singing. 6, 7, all good girls go to heaven. He runs out of bullets, and she has 1 more life left, or 2, I don't know. And then she just takes a wire in her mouth and kisses Max Shrek, and they electrocute Max, and there's this big explosion. You see this fried Walken. His hair is still sticking up perfectly, though, like it's supposed to, from getting electrocuted. That's probably how he styles it in the morning every day. I just plug my finger in the socket. That's how you do it. Don't use gel, hair dryers, conditioners. I'm sorry, is that enough Walken for you? It's never, ever enough for me. I'm just going to keep doing it. Because now he's dead. He's not in the movie anymore. Like, I don't even want to watch the rest. Like, fuck, man. So the Penguin takes another 20 minutes to finally die. He fell through the glass ceiling. He gets out of the water for like the 15th time. Like this black goo blood dripping out of his mouth. He tries to attack Bruce with an umbrella. He's like, I picked a cute one. The little mobile. And then he just falls down on his face, on his pointy beak nose there. And then the Penguins will come along and they usher him and push him into the water. His little burial at sea or whatever the hell it is. But we don't know what happened to Catwoman. And the way she was able to electrocute Shrek there was this little taser thing that she carried around before she was actually able to defend herself, kick people's asses with her cat-like reflexes and whips. She has a little taser, and she sticks the taser in her mouth while she's holding a live wire and kisses Walken. It's just ridiculous, but I guess it works. I don't know, I wouldn't try it at home, but it probably works. Just find somebody you really hate and electrocute them that way and see what happens. I don't know. At the very least, your hair will stick up nice and straight and Walken-y. Okay, so Penguin's dead. Bruce is there. He doesn't know where Catwoman is. Him and Alfred are driving around, and he thinks he sees a shadow of Catwoman. Like, wait, Alfred, pull over. He doesn't see nothing. It's like, oh, well. Merry Christmas, Alfred. Merry Christmas. Goodwill to man and woman. Gotta be fair. So at the very, very end, you see like the silhouette of Catwoman's head stand up and look at the cityscape right before the screen goes black and the credits roll. And that was added at the very last minute. I think just we weren't sure we were going to have like any hint that Catwoman would come back again or that she was not dead. But yeah, she's still there. And I'm not even sure it was Michelle Pfeiffer's head that rises up into the screen at the end because they figured it was like a very, very late added shot and it still probably cost a lot, but they did it anyway and that's it. So there's no more Catwoman appearances in these Batman movies, but there of course was the Halle Berry Catwoman movie which came along and you say what you will about that one. I did see it, but she was good. She was just very different than this Catwoman that we were seeing here. Totally different thing going on with that. And I don't think there was any Batman in there either. It was just Catwoman and it was like her against Sharon Stone. And that was the movie. But there are more Batmans following this Batman, and they get increasingly and progressively stupider and goofier and more childish. And in the next Batman movie, we will have the appearance of Robin and a whole lot more villains and a new director, new composer, and of course a new Batman. And these Batmans will continue to be recycled and replaced throughout the films that follow. And we'll be talking about them and other missing reels, I guess, because this is about enough Batman for now. I think, right? Yeah, I think we've done enough Batman for now. Hope you enjoyed listening to these 2 talks about the 2 Batmans, the Burton Batmans with Michael Keaton. So, as long as they keep on making these Batman movies, we will have Batman forever. Which is the title of the next movie. But yeah, not touching it now. Nope. Some other time, perhaps. Yeah, maybe some other time. But thanks for tuning in to Missing Real and visiting the Bat Cave, my very own secret lair where I record these stupid podcasts. Completely off limits. You're not allowed to see where it all happens. It's just the magic's here. And I'm just glad that you guys are listening, if you even are. So thanks a bunch for that. And thank you all the people who made these Batman movies that were awesome and didn't suck. And I'm looking forward to seeing Michael Keaton return as Batman in The Flash, which he's going to do. Probably by the time this thing gets posted, hopefully you will have already seen it. And we can check that out too, because he's still Batman. He can still do that, and as long as his chin looks good, yeah, it's all right. You could fake it, man. It doesn't matter how old he is, bald, whatever. Put muscles on him. Just show the damn chin. Even if you have to CG it. Even if it's like a really wrinkly, grizzled skin with like warts and a scraggly beard coming out of it. The technology today, you can just fix it and make it back. It's that old 80s Keaton chin. Be great. So yeah, thanks again. Missing Real, signing off. We'll see you soon. Sometimes I just kill myself. Later.